All right, this is it. This is it, Chappy. We're doing it. We're doing it.
You're getting the 11-second this
Yeah.
time? All right.
Yes! I did it! What's up, guys? Rage Quitting here, and in today's video, we are going to show you how to get Carnage Marauder TTK down below 11 seconds. Let's go.
I'm just calling to say I...
If you guys enjoy PvP content, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, I stream on Twitch, so if you want to come hang out with me, twitch.tv/RageQuittingGaming. If you go to inside the parse, second to the last tab before raid combat log, then you can see like the timestamps between all the abilities. So force charge, and then all the way to the last hit. Yeah, it was under 11 seconds. It was like 10.8, but then it rounds up to 11.
There we go.
There we go. Hell yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Carnage Marauder TTK in-depth guide. Chappy and I did a deep dive into this topic yesterday, and we spent 2.5 hours just going back and forth, dueling each other and trying to get this kill down as fast as we could, okay? Doing different builds. You know, it was all trial and error. Like, what if we open this way? What if we do the rotation this way? Etc., right? So after 2.5 hours of going through this, the best way that we found and the most consistent way that we found is the one that I'm going to share with you today. Try not to argue with me on this is what I'm saying, all right? Because I'm just trying to give you guys some context. Like, I already went through all of this, okay? Went through all the possibilities. But anyway, let's just go right into the gear here first, all right? So for the gear, at a very minimum, 105% accuracy. But what I found was during these tests when we were doing it, sometimes I would, parried on a massacre or get parried or miss on a gore, like the offhand part of the gore, right? Because gore hits with 2 lightsabers, the main hand would hit, and sometimes the offhand would not hit at all. And especially if gore doesn't crit on that, then you're getting a very weak gore. And also the offhand misses too. So I bumped my accuracy up by 1 gear piece. So right now I'm at 107% accuracy, 31% crit chance, and then 8.72 alacrity. So the minimum alacrity that you want is above the 7.14% threshold to lower your global cooldown by 0.1 seconds. But with this new gear that we have here, you can't lower this alacrity anymore in Carnage, right? Because Carnage, you get 3% alacrity just for being in a Taru form. So this additional 5.72% alacrity is the bare minimum coming from my gear. Okay, if I could remove 1% alacrity from the gear and add it to crit or something, I would, right? But you can't. So this is the stats that we're working with right here. And then in the combat style, we tested both in the level 23 row here. We tested both Berserk Gore and Driving Gore, okay? And you would think that Berserk Gore is better because when you're using Gore under Berserk, it doesn't go on cooldown, so you can use it again, right? Also, the Berserk Gore still has the armor pen debuff attached to it, whereas the Driving Gore does not. The Driving Gore gets rid of that armor pen debuff and instead replaces it with a movement speed buff to yourself. So at first we did it with the Berserk Gore because it still has the armor pen on it and you can use it multiple times. But we tested both builds, and in both builds we came up with pretty much the same TTK time. And the only other problem with Berserk Gore, even though we were using Berserk Gore, you can't just spam Gore. It doesn't work well enough that way. If you're spamming gore, you're just eating into your rage. By the time the target is really low and you need to get that finishing kill, you're not going to have enough rage to do it. Whether or not you use Berserk Gore, you still have to use the same rotation that I'm about to show you, okay? So with or without Berserk Gore, the rotation is still the same. Being that this is going to be the PvP build that I'm going to use always, I would stick to Driving Gore because Driving Gore is just better in PvP. It has the little bit of range on it, and it can also, dash you to the target. So you can actually go up and down ledges with this and whatever, right? But Driving Gore is better, unless the only reason Berserk Gore has holds a candle to Driving Gore is the hinder. If you want to keep that playstyle of just being the guy that's able to hinder the same target for more than just 1.5 seconds while other people help you kill it, then of course use Berserk Gore. But personal preference, bottom line here is I use Driving Gore, but it doesn't matter. The TTK is still the same and the rotation is still the same. Okay, moving up here, we're always taking Predation, but here, Frenzied Blade, Massacre's crit chance is increased by 20%, and then activating Massacre reduces the cooldown of Frenzy by 2 seconds. The reducing Frenzy part here is good in the Warzone because then this rotation and the actual TTK is doable in the Warzone, more than once, right? Because it'll help you get Frenzy back, because you need Frenzy to do this rotation, okay, to make the kill very, very fast. And then also, I tested Rushdown. This Rushdown buff does not work. I've tested this. I've done Massacre on the Warzone training dummy without any movement speed buffs, and then I added movement speed buffs to myself by using Nimble Master Implant with Saber Ward active, and Predation and Driving Gore. So that's 3 different types of movement speed abilities, and Massacre damage does not change at all. So I would suggest not using Rushdown at all. I would just use Frenzied Blade. It is better, okay? And then moving up here in the 43 row, we're using Swiftness, critically hitting, increase your movement speed, and crit chance by 5%. After that, up here from 47 up, this has nothing to do with your DPS, so the only talents that we really focus on is down here, and this is what we're using. Moving on into this rotation here, there's 2 different sections to this rotation, okay? You already saw the rotation happen earlier in this video, but now we're going to break it down and how to do it, okay? So first up, we need to make sure that we have our 30 stacks of Fury, because on the opener, we're going to use Berserk, and then we're going to leap, and then as soon as our leap goes off, we're going to hit Ferocity, okay? And you want to do Berserk first before you leap in, okay? And this is kind of what I was talking about. People might be arguing with me, wasting a charge of Berserk on leap. Just trust me, we did this for 2.5 hours, and we found that it is better to use Berserk before you leap, okay? So just trust me on this, all right? So anyway, the very, very first global here is pre-Berserk, leap, and Ferocity as soon as possible, because Ferocity needs to go on cooldown ASAP. The next part here is we're going to use a Massacre we have to get our Rage up with Battering Assault first. So we're going to get our Rage up with Battering Assault, use Massacre, which will use one of our Ferocity stacks, and then Devastating Blast into a Gore. All right, so this is another part I was talking about where people may argue with me, wasting a stack of Ferocity on Massacre. Normally, you'd rather use it on bigger hitting abilities, but in this case, for this purpose, you do want to use Massacre to consume that Ferocity stack, because we need to get Devastating Blast on cooldown as soon as possible, okay? Because you're going to get a chance to use 2 Devastating Blasts throughout this entire rotation. One on the opener and one on the finisher. It needs to go on cooldown very, very quickly, all right? So first part of the rotation here, I'm just going to do it on the dummy here, okay? We're going to get our stacks up. Berserk, Leap, Ferocity, Battering Assault, Massacre, Devastating Blast, Gore, all right? And then one more Massacre after that, and I'll show you why, all right? So here we go. All right, so that second Massacre there got rid of the last stack of Berserk. There's 6 total stacks of Berserk, okay? One is being used on Force Charge, another one is being used on Battering Assault, Massacre, Devastating Blast, and then Gore. And then the last one is on that second Massacre after Gore. We want to make sure we're consuming all of our Berserk stacks before we hit Berserk again, okay? But any time in between those abilities, you can hit Frenzy. Frenzy does not respect the global cooldown, so it's not going to take a global away from you. Need it to have been used already so that you can get ready to use a second Berserk. So after that second Massacre, that's when you're going to immediately Berserk and then go into the second half of the rotation, okay? So let me go ahead and show you this. So first part of the rotation again, Berserk, Leap, Ferocity, Battering Assault, Massacre, Devastating Blast, Gore, Massacre, all right? Looks like this. All right? Now, after this, we need to Frenzy, Berserk, Ravage, Twin Saber Throw, and then Vicious Throw, Ferocity, Devastating Blast, okay? If they don't die after that Devastating Blast, then it's either 1 Gore or 1 Massacre should finish the kill, all right? And the thing, when we're about to do the Vicious Throw, as Ferocity is coming off cooldown and it's very, very close, you can throw the Vicious Throw, and while it's in the air, Ferocity will come off cooldown. Then you hit Ferocity, and then boom, the Vicious Throw hits, and it consumes the stack of Ferocity. Okay, so it'll hit, and then you go into the Devastating Blast, and then one Massacre should finish the kill here. Okay, so I'm gonna do the whole rotation. So the first part of the rotation, Berserk, Leap, Ferocity, Battering Assault, Massacre, Devastating Blast, Gore, Massacre, Frenzy, Berserk, Dual Saber Throw, Ravage, Vicious Throw in the air, Ferocity, Devastating Blast, and then either Massacre or Gore if it's available for that very last hit. Okay, but here we go. We're gonna do the whole thing. I can't say it as I'm doing it because it's just too fast, right? So I'm just gonna do it. All right, here we go. And then one Massacre at the end. Boom. And that should get the kill. Okay?
There
we go. There we go. Hell yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on another one. Don't forget to check me out on twitch.tv/RageQuittingGaming.
I'm just calling